त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम आंजनेय स्वामी की जय सद्गुरु महाराज की जय. By the divine grace of our beloved Guru Maharaj, Maharanyam Sri Muralidhara Swamiji, the divine couple Madhuri Sikhi Sameda Premika Varada Thakurji, Sri Padmavati Nayika Sameda Sri Aishwarya Srinivasa Perumal, we are into the 7th day of our Ramayana Katha, where yesterday we stopped on the banks of the river of Tamasa Nadi, where Ramachandra Prabhu was resting with all the people of Ayodhya following him to the forest. So, you see, Kaikeyi Devi got 2 boons, and because of that, out of which for one Ramachandra Prabhu was asked to go to the forest for 14 years and Bharata would be crowned the king of Ayodhya. So, in order to that, obeying to that, Ramachandra Prabhu started his journey to the forest for 14 years. And the way in which he went is beautifully explained, because generally when a king is there in his court or the king is there in his palace, every day when he needs to wake up, there will be a lot of people who will be coming and singing about his praises. And only then a king should wake up. So he has a particular and genuine way of all the routines that should happen, and each person will do a particular seva for the ruler or the king. So that is the way a king will, his functioning will happen. But if you see, in the case of Ramachandra Prabhu has come to the forest and there is no one to sing about his praises. And immediately whenever there is a slot gap for any service, then immediately then Alvar comes to the picture. Today the children were singing about Mukundamala, which comes from Kulasekara Alvar's Sanskrit Grantham. So he is the only Alvar who has done in both the languages. He has written in Tamil, that is Alvar's Pasuram, it is called Perumal Tirumozhi. And he has written in Sanskrit also, that is Mukundamala. So the place where he was born, the deity's name there is Mukunda. So he has submitted this entire stotram to that Swami, and that Alvar immediately he comes and sings a beautiful song to wake up Perumal, because so whenever there is a gap for Kainkaryam, this Alvar comes into the picture. So since there is no one there in the forest, this Alvar starts to sing Sutramellam Pintodara Tolkanam Adaindavane. So the way in which Ramachandra Prabhu goes to the forest, though the boon was for only to Ramachandra Prabhu to go to the forest, but immediately he was accompanied by Sita Devi and Lakshmana. But after that, there were 3 of them. And for them to go to the forest, it was Sumantra who was the minister of Dasharatha, and the charioteer also in this case took them to the forest. So they became 4 in number. And afterwards, if you see, so the entire crowd of Ayodhya, so we can say that the entire Ayodhya has moved to the forest. Generally, we use that phrase, we say that the house itself has moved. So generally the house won't move, but the people in the house have entirely travelled or entirely vacated is what that means. So likewise, if you see here, the entire Ayodhya has travelled to Tamasa Nadi's river's bed, it seems, and there Alvar comes to sing this Pasuram, and he says Sutramellam Pintodara Tolkanam Adaindavane. So all the people are joining Perumal, it seems, and who is going to that forest, he is mentioning particularly as Ayodhya Adipadiye. So though Ramachandra Prabhu has been asked to go to the forest and his crowning ceremony has been stopped and he is not going to be made the king, here Alvar sings that he is the Lord and the ruler of Ayodhya. Because once he goes to the forest, it is mentioned that wherever he is, whether Vaneva, Rajyeva, whether it is in the forest or whether it is in the kingdom, wherever he stays, for all the people, he is only the king and he is only the person who protects. And if you see, when Lakshmana is asked to introduce Ramachandra Prabhu to Sugriva, he doesn't mention him that he is the king of Ayodhya or he is my brother. Those things are not used there. He introduces to Sugriva as Lokanataha Pura Bhutva Sugrivam Natamichati. So don't consider him as a person who has been thrown out from the kingdom or who has been sent out of the kingdom and he is suffering here for 14 years. That is just a drama and that is just a natakam that is being performed by him. But you understand who really he is Lokanataha Pura Bhutva. Earlier he was Lokanatha, is what it means. Earlier means it's not a particular time period. Puratana Lokanatha. He has been the Lokanatha for ages. from the day the world has been created. So Lokanathaha Pura Bhutvam. So that being the case, Alvar is coming here and singing Sutravellam Pintodara Tolkanam Adaindavane Atravarka Arumarunde Ayodhya Nagarat Adivadiye. So though he is come to the forest, he is still the ruler of Ayodhya. And particularly when all the wealth and all the things have been left by Ramachandra Prabhu and he has come to the forest, particularly in this Pasuram alone, Alvar is completing by mentioning Sri Rama Taleno. Though he has left all the Aishwaryam, though he has left all the wealth, though he has left all the money, he has left the entire kingdom, but still he is Sri Rama because Agalagille Nirayum Yendru. Though when Sita Devi is not there with Ramachandra Prabhu also, he is with that Sri. But here Sita Devi has followed with him also. So Sitevanu Gata Lakshmi Tasya Kinnama Durlabham. So Ramachandra Prabhu is waiting on the banks of the river Tamasa and he is just waking up. It is the morning. And immediately the picture moves to Ayodhya. So when Ramachandra Prabhu was staying here, when Ramachandra Prabhu started from the forest, all the Dasharatha and all the queens and the Kausalya Devi, everyone were crying and all the people fell down. They fainted. And it was very difficult for them to get back to their normal self. And finally Dasharatha and all the people came back and they were taken. Dasharatha was immediately taken to Kausalya Devi's chamber. And there now Kausalya Devi and Dasharatha are alone there. And now Dasharatha is starting to cry. And Dasharatha is really mourning and he is really suffering because of the separation of Ramachandra Prabhu. And he is mentioning to Kausalya Devi, Ramam me anugata drishtihi adyapina nivartate natvam pashyami Kausalye sadhumam manina sprisha. There is no one else, there are only Kausalya Devi and Dasharatha there. And he is mentioning to Kausalya Devi that always by what name I used to call Ramachandra Prabhu. I used to call him as Kanmani. Kanmani means he is so fond of, like how we very much like our eyes. So, because it is very important organ, it is very important thing, so that he calls Ramachandra Prabhu as Kanmani. And when that Kanmani has left Ayodhya, he is telling that he is not able to see anything. His entire vision has been blocked. Ramamme anugata drishtihi, and my drishti and my vision has gone along with Ramachandra Prabhu. Rameva anugata drishtihi, and I am very much sure that adyapina nivartate, it will not be coming back to me. So I am not able to see anything. And generally bhaktas have this prayer that whatever they see in this world they won't be interested in, and their only prayer is we want to see only Bhagavan alone. So that is what bhaktas pray to. And here Dasharatha is mentioning I am in that state because Ramachandra Prabhu has gone to the forest. Ramamme anugata drishtihi adyapina nivartate, and it won't be returning back because he is not going to return now immediately. So it is going to take 14 years for him to return back. Natvam pashyami Kausalye. So Dasharatha is searching for Kausalya's hands. He is mentioning that I am not able to see anything. Natvam pashyami Kausalye. And in this tough and in this sorrowful situation, the only thing that is going to be of aid to me is your hands. Because sadhumam panina sprisha, you please touch me. Because I could feel the touch of Ramachandra Prabhu in your hands. Because you are the mother of Ramachandra Prabhu, so that from the young age you will only be taking care of him. So that being the case, that hand would have touched him several times. So how many times you would have made Ramachandra Prabhu to sleep? So how many times you would have held him in his hand? So Dasharatha is mentioning sadhumam panina sprisha. So you hold my hand so that I will be able to breathe, I will be able to live for some more time, I will be able to speak with you. Otherwise, I feel that I am dying. Sadhumam panina sprisha. On seeing this situation of Dasharatha, what will Kausalya do? She also has given off her son. So that being the case, she starts to cry and she starts to suffer. Atyanta sukha sampannaha sukumaraha sukochitaha. So how a luxurious and a happy and a prosperous life that Ramachandra Prabhu was living in the kingdom. And now he has been pushed to the forest. So atyanta sukha sampannaha. So all the things that is needed for him will be taken care here. So just by he showing his hands or showing something through his mouth, if he instructs, immediately everything will be there for him. So whatever it is needed will be taken care here. So how will he going to be staying in the forest? So atyanta sukha sampannaha sukumaraha sukochitaha. And the two, if he is old, That too, if he is in trying for attaining moksha, or if he is going for any other sadhana, then that is fine. So because that is needed for those kind of spiritual practices. But he is so young, sukumaraha, sukhochitaha, and wherever he goes, he will be expecting that place should be comfortable for a small person. For a young guy, what he will be expecting? So the place comfortable, comfortable, so whatever he sees, everything should be of comfort to him. So sukumaraha, sukhochitaha, I don't know how he is going to survive in the forest for 14 years. So what will happen there? So what he is going to do, what Sita Devi is going to do, what Lakshmana is going to do. So Kausalya and Dasharatha are keep on thinking about Ramachandra Prabhu, but they need someone to pacify them. There is one person there, that is Sumitra Devi. Sumitra Devi is considered equivalent to a jnani because she understands who Ramachandra Prabhu really is. So she is asking or mentioning to Kausalya Devi that you don't worry, no harm or no botherations will happen to Ramachandra Prabhu, because you have to understand who really is. So you are just seeing him as your child, and he has been going to the forest for 14 years, so you are feeling that separation, and you are crying, and you are seeing that what will happen to him, but he is not so. Suryaschapi bhavet suryaha, agneragnih prabhav prabhuhu, shriya shrihi bhavet yagra, kirtya kirtihi kshama kshama. So you have to understand who he is. He has the capacity to even burn the sun. He has the capacity to even turn fire into ashes. He has the capacity to control all the devatas, daivatam, daivatanam cha, bhutanam, bhutasattamaha. He controls all the 5 bhutas. Tasyate hyaguna devi, vanevapi athava pure. Wherever he lives, that place will be suitable for him. That place will change according to his requirements. So you are considering that he is living in the forest. Don't worry, those wild animals there or the Rakshasas there will not be of any hindrance or any difficulty for him. He will be properly getting water there, he will be properly getting shade there, he will be getting proper place to stay there, he will be getting proper food there. So because all these things were created by him, and when it is needed for his aid or his requirement, so accordingly everything will be falling in place which he needs. So that being the case, you don't worry, because these kind of people are needed to pacify and give these kinds of words to Kausalya and Dasharatha, because they are seeing him as their child. And a jnani like person like Sumitra should be there, and she is giving them confidence that they shouldn't worry, and Ramachandra Prabhu will safely return back after 14 years. And even though he has gone to the forest, even though he was given his crown, even though he was given back his simhasana, all these things are there, but look at the person who is following him. So generally, once if we leave off all the money, if we are bankrupt, then we don't have anything. But even when Ramachandra Prabhu is sent out of the kingdom, the person following him is Sitevanu Lakshmi. So who Sita Devi is? See, Sakshat Lakshmi Devi, Tasya Kim Nama Durlabham. Just if we have some $100 or $200, we say that we are having a lot of money. But the entire Swarupam for money, wealth, prosperity, everything is following Ramachandra Prabhu. So Sitevanu Lakshmi, Tasya Kim Nama Durlabham. So what he can't obtain. And you have to think of Lakshmana also. He is there to get whatever Ramachandra Prabhu and Sita Devi want. So that is why he has gone there. So you think Dhanurgrahavaro yasya Bhanakadghavrit swayam Lakshmano Brajatihyagre Tasya kim nama dhurlabham. So you don't worry. They will have a safe stay there. They will return back quickly. So in this way, Sumitra Devi tries to pacify and tries to give strong words to Kausalya. In that way, she is mentioning to Dasharatha also. So that is her respect towards Dasharatha. She won't be speaking directly. Though she is the wife of Dasharatha, she has such a respect and such a sthanam for him. So she doesn't speak directly to him. So while mentioning to Kausalya Devi, in that way, Dasharatha will also be able to hear what she speaks, so that he also gets composed. And they are all in sorrow. And immediately the picture moves to Tamasa river. This is where Ramachandra Prabhu wakes up. And he sees all the people of Ayodhya here and there, they are sleeping. So how comfortably they were living there, and how comfortably Dasharatha was taking care of them for so many years. And if those prajas and people of Dasharatha, if they suffer, how will Dasharatha feel? So that is the thought of Ramachandra Prabhu. And immediately he asked Sumantra to drive fastly, because this is the time when he can avoid people following him. Since they are all sleeping there, So Ramchandra Prabhu, otherwise if they are awake, then they will also start to follow him. So he asks Sumatra to slowly, without any noise, and there are a lot of grasses there, it seems, so you drive the chariot in such way so that they won't get woken up or they won't be disturbed, so that we can continue our travel. And immediately when Ramchandra Prabhu moves away, after some time all the people of Ayodhya wake up, and to their entire shock there is Shunyam there, there is no Ramchandra Prabhu there, and immediately they are really started to cry and they are shouting and jumping, how did we sleep? How in this junction can we have a sleep here? How can we sleep? We couldn't win over sleep here. Digastu khalu nidram tam yayapahrita chetasam. They are shouting at Nidra now, scolding Nidra Devi, that is sleep now. How could at this point of time I could get sleep? Digastu khalu nidram tam yayapahrita chetasam. But with so much love and affection and bhakti, we followed Ramchandra Prabhu, and how could that Prabhu leave us? So he shouldn't have left us, right? So though we have slept, he should have taken care of us and he should have been with us, or he should have woken us up and taken us along with him. But he didn't do any of those things. Katham Ramo Mahabahuhu Satatha Abhitata Kriyaha. Is he not capable of protecting us even in the forest? Satatha Abhitata Kriyaha. Wherever the place may be, even if we go and live with Ramachandra Prabhu in a desert, where there is no rain, where there is no food, where there is no water, in that place also he can protect us and save us. So he is such a person. Katham Ramaha Mahabahuhu Satatha Abhitata Kriyaha. So that being the case, if Ramachandra Prabhu has left us, then there is no place of refuge or no place of protection for us at all. So then we can do only one thing. So only one thing that we can do is we should leave our life here itself. Because if Ramachandra Prabhu himself has left us and he has gone without telling us or without making us to know it, then how can we survive hereafter? Because if we try to take refuge in lot of the worldly things, so we run behind money, so we run behind house, we run behind job opportunities, so all those things we see them as a security. And finally we would used to say that anyways, whether this is there or not, Bhagavan is there for us. So that will come as a final point. Only we will mention it just for namesake alone. Why? Because we have a confidence that we have a good bank balance, we have a good house, we have all those recommendations. So we say for the world to know or the people to know that he is a bhakta, we used to say that Bhagavan is there. But that is not the way it should be. So whatever may be the case, whatever way our life pushes us to, or whatever way we live our life, we should have that confidence and that belief that Bhagavan is there to protect us. So all these people have left out everything and came behind Ramchandra Prabhu because of that belief and because of that bhakti towards him. And now if Ramchandra Prabhu himself leaves them and go, immediately they think that we should lose our life here itself. So immediately, Haiva Nidhanam Yamaha Mahaprasthanam Evava Ramena Rahitam Nova Kimartham Jeevitam Hidam. What is there in living if Ramchandra, we are not there with Ramchandra Prabhu? So that being the case, immediately all the people feel that we will go and jump in the Tamasa river and we will leave our life. And there are few old people who have some wisdom and they stop all these people. And they mention to them that you should not do these kinds of things. If Ramachandra Prabhu has left us and if he has gone to further continue his travel, then we must understand that he is not interested in us going with him to the forest. And he has definitely mentioned that he will return back after 14 years. So that being the case, if Ramachandra Prabhu returns back and he will be crowned the king after 14 years, and if we lose our life now, then we will miss the opportunity and the bhagyam of seeing Ramachandra Prabhu's coronation at that time. So we have to hold our life, we will go back to Ayodhya, we will pray for Ramachandra Prabhu's safe return after 14 years. And now, if Ramachandra Prabhu is not there for us, then the only person who will be protecting us is Dasharatha. So till now Dasharatha was there, they left Dasharatha and they come for Ramachandra Prabhu, and if Ramachandra Prabhu has gone, they feel that we should go back to Ayodhya, and few people take all the people back to Ayodhya. And they are going and staying there, and few people who didn't come, few ladies were still staying in Ayodhya because of some issues and they didn't follow Ramachandra Prabhu. And immediately they mentioned, they were speaking to themselves and they told that, you see, my husband has gone with Ramachandra Prabhu like Lakshmana. Like how Lakshmana is always interested in Ramachandra Prabhu's service, he has also gone. My son has gone, my grandchild has gone. So the ladies there who wouldn't go out at that time, They were happy and they were thinking about the sacrifice that their male in the house have done. And at that time, all these people returned back. And immediately these people got really angry and they told that don't you have confidence in Ramachandra Prabhu that he will protect us? Why did you come back? So we were really happy that you went to serve Ramachandra Prabhu like Lakshmana, how he has left his family, how he has left all the wealth and everything, and he is following Ramachandra Prabhu just to serve him. So I was thinking you in that stature. And now since all of you have returned back, they didn't feel sorry here. They are mentioning that it's alright. Let all of us go now. Let all of us go back to Ramachandra. Padachaya sukha bartuhu tadrushasya mahatmanaha. So the only place of refuge is Ramachandra Prabhu's feet. Padachaya. So a big tree will provide shade for lot of people and lot of beings. So likewise Ramachandra Prabhu is like that. So Padachaya sukha bhartuhu. And though he protects us or though he beats us, for a wife, the proper place of refuge is being with her husband. So Padachaya sukha bhartuhu tadrushasya mahatmanaha is so great. Sahi natho janasya asya sa gatihi sa parayanam. And he is the natha, he is the leader and he is the protector for the entire world. So sa gatihi sa parayanam. So he is our only refuge, so let us all go there. And if we go there, so what is the way for us to survive? So we mentioned to you, Yushmakam Raghavoranye Yogakshemam Nidhasyati Sita Nari Janasya Asya Yogakshemam Karishyati. So they are mentioned, if we go there and stay with Ramachandra Prabhu, all the male will be doing service to Ramachandra Prabhu and Lakshmana. And all the ladies will be serving Sita. And whatever they give us, in whichever way they protect us, we will be staying with them. Because the only happiness and sukham and anandam is staying with Ramachandra Prabhu. Vayam paricharishyamaha Sita vyuyam charaghavam. So that is what we have been given birth to. And it is so blessed that we were born in Ayodhya and at the same time where Ramachandra Prabhu was there. So that is the greatest blessing and bhagyam for us and we should not let go waste of it. So we will go back to Ramachandra Prabhu. So immediately all the people who returned from Tamasa Nadi, they were really happy on seeing their members in the family who were having this much bhakti and devotion towards Rama. And they mentioned that we are also the same like that, but it was only Ramachandra Prabhu who left us and we should show him respect here because he feels that we should not be following him. So that is the reason why we returned back. And we will stay in Ayodhya. We will pray for Ramachandra Prabhu's safe return. And after 14 years, we assure you and we also pray that definitely Ramachandra Prabhu will come back and he will be doing God action. So all the people return back to Ayodhya and Ramachandra Prabhu is further continuing his journey into the forest and he comes to a place called Sringiverapuram. And he comes and asks Sumantra to stop the chariot there. And Ramachandra Prabhu asks him to take care of the horses for them to take some rest, for them to get some shade, for them to get some water because they need to continue their travel, right? So he asks Sumanta to take care of that and if you see Ramachandra Prabhu is waiting for one person it seems. So from his body language itself it is very clear and very evident that he has left his family, he has left the kingdom, he has left the lordship, everything has been left by his father, his mother, all the people's love, everything has been left over and now he is coming here and standing for one person. So this shows that this one person is equivalent or even more greater than those 1,000 people waiting there for Ramachandra Prabhu. And what is that relationship between Rama and that person? And that person is Guha. Tatra Raja Guho Nama Ramasya Atma Samassakha Nishada Jatyo Balavan Sapatisteti Vishrutaha Tatra Raja. He is also a king. So don't consider that he is a king of a big kingdom like Ramachandra Prabhu or Koshala. He is a king for a few groups of people living in the forest. So Tatra Raja Guho Nama and his name is Guha. And Valmiki is giving a beautiful description about Guha. Ramasya Atma Samassakha. He is Rama's best friend, Atma Samassakha, and he is a friend who is equivalent to Rama itself. And if you see in Ramayana, there is nowhere a person who has the guts or who has the confidence to mention that we are equivalent to Rama. No one is there. So if you see, there are people who can be equated to equivalent to Rama. can be equated close to Rama. If you see Bharata can be told, if you see Lakshmana can be told, if you see Shatrughna can be told, Anjaneya Swami can be told, Sugriva can be told, because he also become a king of the Vanara clan, right? So both these two are kings now. So that in that case they can be compared with Ramachandra Prabhu. But if you see, all those people are moving behind and they are mentioning that we are not equal to Ramachandra Prabhu at all. So if you see, Lakshmana is mentioning Gunaihi Dasyam Upagataha, I am his servant and I am not his brother. Similarly, Bharata is mentioning Tasyame Dasa Bhutasya, I am also his servant. And similarly, if you see Anjaneya Swami, who is well read in all the Shastras and is so great, and even Ramachandra Prabhu praises him as he is the best in speaking. All those qualities are there, but if you see Anjaneya Swami, he is mentioning that I am, among all the servants, I am the least. When he is introducing himself to Sita Devi, Anjaneya Swami is mentioning that if I am capable of coming to Lanka, then think about other great monkeys who are waiting there. So that is the way he introduces. So that being the case, he is also not considered equal to Ramachandra Prabhu, but who can be considered? No one can be considered. But here Valmiki Maharshi is particularly mentioning this Guha as equivalent to Ramachandra Prabhu. Ramasya Atma Samasakha. How can he mention such a way? So then we have to say that Valmiki Maharshi is telling a lie here. And how can we say Valmiki is telling a lie? Valmiki Maharshi can never tell lie, because always in his mouth truth is only playing, because the truth is Ramanama there. So that being a place, he can never lie. Second condition, it is a boon from Brahmadeva that whatever you write will be true. Nateva Andrita Kadya. You will never write a lie or you will never write a false statement in the entire Ramayana. So since Valmiki Maharshi has mentioned, then there should be some samyam, there should be something that can be equated, the quality of Guha that can be equated with Ramachandra Prabhu. What is that quality? So if you see, in knowledge, it can't be equated. If you see in sthanam, it can't be equated. So if you see in wealth, it can't be equated. If you see in lineage, it can't be equated. If you see in beauty, it can't be equated. Nowhere there is a place for bringing Guha and keeping at the same place or same stature of Ramachandra Prabhu. But Valmiki Maharshi has placed it. And what is that reason? He is beautifully mentioning that it is not my opinion that Guha is equivalent to Rama. It is Ramachandra Prabhu's opinion. So Ramasya Atma Samasakha. So Atma Sama itself is enough. Why should he mention Ramasya there? Because he is mentioning that it is not my opinion. For a Bhakta, always Bhagavan is superior. If you see from the eyes of Lakshmana, he will say that why is Ramachandra Prabhu waiting for this Guha here? It is the duty of Guha to come and see Ramachandra Prabhu. It is not Ramachandra Prabhu who should wait for him. So that is the way with Bhaktas will be saying, they will nowhere equate Bhagavan to anyone else in the world. But Valmiki Bhagavan, it's not his own opinion, because for him also Ramachandra Prabhu is great, because he first posted 16 questions to know about how great this Ramachandra Prabhu is. So how can he equate someone else to Ramachandra Prabhu? So that is not the case here. But he is equating Guha because of Ramachandra Prabhu's heart has accepted it. So Ramasya Atma Samasaka. And what is that thing that equated both of them together? And that is Paramam Samyam Upaiti, and that is the bhakti that Guha has for Ramachandra Prabhu. So the Guha shows towards Ramachandra Prabhu. And immediately what Bhagavan does, he says, Aham Bhakta Paradhina. So I am the servant of my Bhakta. If you see in that case, then Bhagavan drops 2 steps and it is the Bhakta who is always superior. But here I think Valmiki Bhagavatam is equating both of them. So Ramasya Atma Samasakha Nishada Jatyo Bhalavan Stapatischeti Vishrutaha. And Ramachandra Prabhu is standing under a tree and he is waiting for Guha to come. See how it should happen. Is this the way? He is a king of Ayodhya and he is a hunter there, Guha. So immediately this scene of Ramachandra Prabhu waiting under a tree, Lakshmana standing next to him and Sita Devi standing by the right of him, and Guha approaching towards Ramachandra Prabhu comes in the view of Alvar. So immediately Alvar sees it and immediately he sings. It is sung by Tirumangai Alvar. He sings when he goes to Srirangam in front of Sriranga Perumal. He sings Yezhai Ezhalan Kilmagan Yennadu Irangi Matra Avarukku Innarul Surandu Mazhai Manmada Nokki Untozhi Umbiyambi Endrozhindhilai Ugandu தோழன் நீ எனக்கு இங்கொழி என்ற சொற்கள் கேட்டு அடியனேன் மனத்திருந்திட ஆழிவண்ணா உன் அடியினை அடைந்தேன் அணிபொழில் திருவரங்கத்தம்மானே. Ramachandra Prabhu is waiting. Why? Because he can't enter inside the kingdom. So not that it is because of his dharana that he is waiting here. He can't enter because he has made promise to Kaikeyi Devi that in these 14 years he will not enter inside any kingdom. Whether it is a kingdom of a small hunter or whether it may be kingdom of Ravana itself or Vibhishana itself, in that case he will never enter. He has not entered Sugriva's Kishinda, he didn't enter Lanka also, and he is not entering Shingiverapura's small territory also. Because he has made that promise there, that in 14 years I will not enter inside any city or any kingdom in that case. So he waits outside. So he waits outside the territory. So that is why in Lanka also he is waiting on the shores of the ocean. He is not entering at all. And where the battle happens, he comes till there. So that being the case, he can't enter. But why should he wait here? He is waiting because if we are living in the streets and on the roadside, when Perumal comes for a procession, and immediately at that time we are not there, then that would be of great abhagyam for us, right? So we will be thinking that Rama is waiting because if he crosses the Shringiverapuram and goes deep into the forest, then Guha can't be able to see Ramachandra Prabhu for the next 14 years. So then how he will be disturbed and how much he will be troubled. So in order to give darshan to Guha, Ramachandra Prabhu is waiting here. This is correct, right? This can be done. This is acceptable. But it is not so. It is not so. He is not waiting to give darshan to Guha. He is waiting to have darshan of Guha. So that is why he is waiting, it seems. Why he is waiting for 14? Why he is waiting here? Because if he crosses Shringiverapuram, then for 14 years Ramachandra Prabhu will be troubled that he won't be able to see Guha for those 14 years. So he is waiting here, it seems. And that is what captures Alva's view. So he says, Ezhai ezhalan kizhmagan ennadu irangi. Bhagavan, his avataram itself, we mean that he is getting down from a bigger position. Avataram itself is compassion. Because a person who is standing at the top position, nowhere he will be that much humble to come down and engage with all the people. That can never happen. But Bhagavan's concept of avataram itself, he is getting down. Erangi varudhu abindradha avatarame. And here Alvar is mentioning after he has made an avataram, after he has came out of the kingdom, he is already in the forest now. And still Alvar is mentioning that Bhagavan unnu erangara. He is still getting down. Ezhai ezhalan kizhmagan ennadu. So who this Guha? He is a poor person. So Ezhai ezhalan, he is a servant. So he can be ordered. He is in such a state. Ezhalan kizhmagan, he is a low life. Ezhai ezhalan kizhmagan ennadu. So Bhagavan is not thinking in such way, it seems. And the reason for that is his bhakti. And Ramachandra Prabhu is waiting to have Guha's darshan now. And he could have sent Lakshmana to call Guha, right? And he is also not doing that. But few people of Guha's family, they came to Ganga river to collect water in their pots, and they could see Ramachandra Prabhu. Immediately they inform Guha, and Guha rushes with the older people in his family to see Ramachandra Prabhu. And when he is rushing, when he is coming near Ramachandra Prabhu's stature is that he can sit under that tree and he can show his leg to him. Come, you should do prostrations to me. That is what the way in which his body language should be. But on seeing Guha approaching Ramachandra Prabhu, immediately Ramachandra Prabhu stood up. And he stood up and he held Lakshmana's hands, and Ramachandra Prabhu is running, it seems. Padbhyam abhigamat chaiva sneha sandarshanena me. So he is running. And saha saumitrina Ramaha. So Lakshmana was already having a smaller thought about Guha. He was mentioning that why is Ramachandra Prabhu waiting here for this person? He is just an hunter. He is a person living in the forest. This much importance should not be given to him. That is what the thought of Lakshmana was. So on understanding that, Ramachandra Prabhu doesn't run alone to see Guha. He is holding the hands of Lakshmana. Lakshmana, Saha Saumitrina Ramaha Abhyagachan Guhena Saha. So this is what Alvar mentions Irangi. So he can stay in his place and expect Guha to come. Not expect order Guha to come and stand in front of him so that Ramachandra Prabhu can bless him. But here he mentions that he is taking few steps to come to Guha because he feels that Guha, why are you having this difficulty of approaching me? I will approach towards you. So Irangi Matru Avarukku in Arul Surand. Till now he has not spoken about the compassion part at all. But till now what I have explained itself is Ramachandra Prabhu's compassion only. And Alvar is mentioning Yedai, Yedalan, Kilmagan, Yennad. He has not seen any of those things in Guha at all. He is only seeing the pure devotion and bhakti that Guha has. That itself is compassion. Regarding the stature of Ramachandra Prabhu and Guha. But Alvar is mentioning Kizha Vinnum Irangi. Matrum Avarukku in Arul Surand. He is yet to shower his blessings at all. So in Arul Surand, so what is that blessing? So Matru Avarukku in Arul Surand. Maadai Manmadanoki Untoli Umbi Yambi Endra Sorkal Vandu Olindilai. So Guha has an introduction and he is well known friend of Ramachandra Prabhu. When he is a well known friend of Ramachandra Prabhu, then he would obviously know who Lakshmana is also. Because always they don't separate at all. So Ramachandra Prabhu has allowed Sita Devi to get separated from him, but no way he allowed Lakshmana to get separated from him. So that being the case, they are always together. So Guha would have met Lakshmana also, but he would not have met Sita Devi because this is the first time she is coming out of the kingdom. So generally princess or queen, they won't be coming out regularly, they will be staying inside the kingdom, inside their chamber alone. So that being the case, Ramachandra Prabhu, on seeing Guha, his compassion and his love and affection towards Guha is rushing towards him. Is rushing towards him so that he is not in his normal state at all. If you see in Ramayanam, nowhere Ramachandra Prabhu introduces Sita Devi to anyone. Nowhere, no one he is introducing her to. But here, Alvar mentions that immediately when Guha comes, he brings honey, he brings millets, he brings some dried fruits. Those things he is submitting to Ramachandra Prabhu. Ramachandra Prabhu just he touches it because he is in a vratam of not eating for 3 days. He has mentioned to Kaikeyi Devi that after I enter into the deep forest only, I will be eating also. So for 3 days he has not taken any food. But when Guha comes and submits those things, he just touches them and acknowledges. And now he needs to introduce Sita Devi to him. Guha has not asked who she is. And if a lady is standing next to Ramachandra Prabhu, will anyone have any question who that lady is? No one will have that question. Because it is Sita Devi, obvious. So that being the case, why should Ramachandra Prabhu introduce Sita Devi to Guha? It is not at all needed because it is a well-known fact. A lady is standing next to Ramachandra Prabhu, it is Sita Devi, that's it. And here Ramachandra Prabhu feels and needs that he should introduce her to him. And what way he should introduce? He should introduce that she is the daughter-in-law of Dasharatha or the daughter of Janaka, or he can introduce her as she is going to be the queen of Ayodhya, so he can introduce her as his queen, or he can introduce her as his wife, but he is introducing Todi, she is Guha's friend, it seems. And after mentioning that Sita Devi is Guha's friend, when Guha raises his head and see her face, he will not do it. And when Ramachandra Prabhu is approaching, he feels so shy and he goes 2 steps back. And now our Bhagavan is again mentioning that you see her. Untoli. He is not seeing, he is just having his head down. And Ramachandra Prabhu is forcing. And that is shown in this Pasuram by describing Sita Devi's eyes. Maadai Mamadanoki Untoli. How Sita Devi's eyes are, it is so beautiful, like a young deer it seems. And he is particularly mentioning to Guha that see that eyes. Maadai Manmadanoki Untoli. Don't worry, she is your friend only, so you can take that advantage and see her face. That is not a problem. Untoli. But still Guha is yet to do it. Parindra. You see it. And the inner meaning here is that Guha should get the kataksham of Taya. That is the inner meaning. because she is Sakshat Lakshmi there, and he should get the blessings of Sakshat Ayah, because this is a rare opportunity. She herself has come outside of the kingdom. Otherwise, Guha will never get an opportunity to see her at all. But the way in which Ramachandra Prabhu puts it, Maadai Mal Madanoki Avatayara, she is Sakshat Jaganmata. You fall at her feet, then she will bless you. That is not the way in which he conveys. Then otherwise, then Guha and Ramachandra Prabhu are not friends at all. So the way in which he conveys is Maadai Mamadanoki Untori, she is your friend. So see her. So, but the inner meaning is Guha will have her kataksham. Then there is Lakshmana next to him. And already Lakshmana, he is thinking something little less or little about Guha. So, Ramachandra Prabhu raises the stature of Guha now in front of Lakshmana. So, if you see in Kamba Ramayanam, Kamban mentions that Guha rode Aivarano. So, it is Guha is the fifth brother of Ramachandra Prabhu in their lineage. So, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, Guha. Guha becomes fifth, Sugriva becomes sixth, and Vibhishana becomes seventh. So this is the way Ramachandra Prabhu is adding his brothers. But Kamba Ramayanam, Kamban wrote in Kamba Ramayanam after Alva's Pasuram was rendered. So he took inspiration from Alva's Pasuram and only he has written that. So that being the case, the way in which Alvar explains it is even more greater. He says, Umbi, Yambi, Endra, Ingoli, Endra Circle. Who is this person standing next to me here? He is Lakshmana. And he is your brother. So what he should mention? So he should mention that Lakshmana is my brother. Now since I have added you as my fifth brother also, he is your brother. That is not the way. Already if you see, Lakshmana has changed the order in which they were born. So first it was Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrugna. That is the way in which they were born. Already Lakshmana has raised Bharata and he has come friend. So now it has become Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna. That is not the order. The way in which they were born was Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrugna. But it has been reversed now that 1, 2, 3, 4 has become 1, 3, 2, 4. So it is Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna. And Kamban was adding Guha in the fifth place. So 1, 3, 2, 4 and 5. Now what Alvar does, he is taking that fifth position and placing him as second. So first he mentions that Guha, Lakshmana is your brother, then he is mine. So it should be Rama's brother, then if he is Guha's brother, then Guha will be still in the fifth position. But that is not the way in which Alvar mentions. He mentions Ramachandra Prabhu's heart, that he is telling that Umbi, so he is your brother, then he is mine. So that means if you see from the behind, so 3, 2, 1, right? So 1 is Rama, 2 is Guha, and 3rd is Lakshmana. So in that order, Umbi. So first he is your brother, then he is mine. So Umbi, Yambi, Endra, Oi in the circle, Ugand. And that he is not mentioning because Guha will be of some use to him in the forest, or he will be giving him lot of boats for him to cross the river Ganga. That is not the reason why Ramachandra Prabhu is showing all this compassion. It is because Ugand, he is so happy, and on seeing Guha, so he is mentioning, and even after introducing Sita Devi, even after introducing Lakshmana, Guha is taking 2 steps backward. He is not coming close to Ramachandra Prabhu at all. And on seeing that, Tojanni, so Ramachandra Prabhu is now holding Guha's hand. Why are you going back? Come forward. Tojanni, you are my friend. Tojanni, Enak, Ingodi, Endra Sokal, get me a friend. And he is pulling Guha towards Ramachandra Prabhu, and Ramachandra Prabhu is hugging him, giving an alinganam. So, Tojanni, Enak, you are my friend. Why are you hesitating to come close to me? Why are you hesitating to come and speak to me? What is that hesitation and what is that it is stopping you? You are my friend. Tojanni, Enak, Ingodi, Endra Sokal. And these 3 statements, Un Todi, Maadai Madanoku Un Todi, so that is the introduction for Sita Devi, Umbi, Yambi, Oi Ing, that is for Lakshmana, and Todanni Enak, so that is for Guha himself, that is for Ramachandra Prabhu also. And on seeing these 3 statements, Alvar feels that I can also come and stand in your Sannidhi, because you have not seen any other qualities or any other sins or any other habits that a person has. So the only thing that you see is the devotion and the love that he shares and has for you. And that being the case, on seeing how you are compassionate towards Guha, I myself also got the confidence to come and stand in front of you. Thodanni enakku ingoli endra sorkal ket, particularly the words sorkal ket adiyanen manattirundida. I also got the confidence. So that is why I am coming and standing in front of Ranganatha, I am standing in front of you. So you show the same compassion that you showed to Guha. Adiyane marattirundida. Till now I was having a doubt whether Ramachandra Prabhu will accept me, because I have been doing lot of sins, I have committed lot of issues, lot of problems, all these things are there. Somewhere that will be in our mind. Because though we come and stand in front of Perumal, though we come and stand in front of Bhagavan, inside we will have one guilt that we have been committing or doing these kinds of activities, and we will have a doubt that whether Bhagavan would be knowing it or not also. So that being the case, Alvar is having the same intention, the same thought, and he is mentioning that till now I have been hesitating to come and stand in front of you, but I got the bhagyam, and I was blessed to hear this Guha Sakhyam from Ramayanam. So that being the case, today I am coming and standing in front of you. So Adiyanen Manattirundida, even my mind has changed, and I got the confidence that I could come and stand in front of you because Arivanna Adinai Adainde. That is the confidence that made me to come and stand in front of you, because you are compassionate to all the beings. You are compassionate to whomever it may be, whether it is a hunter, whether it is a king, whether it is a monkey, whether it is a Rakshasa, whether it is a squirrel, whether it is Shabari, whomever it may be. Ramachandra Prabhu is so compassionate, Ranganathan is so compassionate. So he is mentioning Adivanna Adinai Anainde Anipodil Tiruvarangatamane. So this is what Alvar mentioned in this Pasaram, and immediately Guha is coming and Ramachandra Prabhu hugs him. And but you see Guha, so will he get the confidence to come and stand next to Ramachandra Prabhu? He is mentioning with folded hands, with Anjali, he is mentioning Vayam Preshyaha Bhavan Bharta Sadhurajyam Prasasitaha. He is mentioning that you are Bharta. Bharta means ruler, Bharta means protector, Bharta means king. Vayam Preshyaha Bhavan Bharta Sadhurajyam Prasasitaha. I came to know that you have come to the forest for 14 years and you have been asked to go out of the kingdom. So you don't worry, Sadhurajyam Prasaditaha, my kingdom is there for you. My kingdom is there for you, but who am I? So you are also a king and I am also a king. So that is not the same stature I am seeing. But you are seeing me as your friend, that is because of your compassion. But I know what my real qualification is. So he is mentioning Vayam Preshyaha. So if there is a Lord and if we are a servant for that Lord, then the servants are classified into 3 types. So Vayam Preshyaha. So he is mentioning that he is of the 3rd category. So the first one is Bhritya. Bhritya is the person who is always close to the Lord or who is close to the Guru and he does service to him. So first category is Bhritya. So the Lord or the ruler will be only giving instructions to that person. So through him it will reach other people and he will be having a direct conversation with him and he will be able to see him directly. So that relation is called Bhritya. And the second relation is Kinkara, Kim Karoti. So what should I do? Always, whenever he comes, this should be his question. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Is there any work for me? Is there any instruction for me? So this kind is the second one and it is called as Kinkara. So for this Kinkara, they will be able to see the Lord, but they won't be able to have a direct conversation. So it will be the Bhritya who will be instructing him, mentioning that the Lord has asked you to do this. So you finish it and give me the report. So that is second place, that is called the Kinkara. So Kim Karomi, what should I do? So that is second category. And the third one is Preshya. They won't be able to see the Lord. They won't be able to have a conversation with the Lord. But they will be Lord will instruct the Bhritya will tell to Kinkara, and the Kinkara will be having a few groups and they are called as Preshya. So nowhere, but they will be happy and content that the Lord has passed this service to me. So that is the third category. And Guha, though Ramachandra Prabhu is asking him to stand close to him, giving him the same stature, he is even giving him a stature more than Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna, Guha is hesitating. He is not doing it. He is mentioning Vayam Preshyaha Bhavan Bharta Sadhurajyam Prasaditaha. So he is submitting his kingdom, and the same way he is submitting food also to Ramachandra Prabhu. Bhakshyam Bhojyam Chapeyam Cha Lekhyam Chaitat Upasthitam. But Ramachandra Prabhu, as I already told, he just acknowledges it, but he didn't accept it. And at that night, Ramachandra Prabhu stays in Guha's place, and Guha creates a beautiful bed using grass. Ramachandra Prabhu and Sita Devi sleep in it, and then he creates a beautiful bed for Lakshmana also, and Lakshmana says, I will not sleep here. How can I? If you see, Lakshmana didn't sleep for 14 years. In Mahabharatam, Arjuna has a name called Udakesha. Udaka means Nidra, sleep, and a person who has 1 hour sleep is called Udakesha. And similarly here, if you see, Lakshmana is Udakesha. He has 1 hour sleep for 14 years. He didn't sleep at all. So he was always seeing the way or getting a way in which he could serve Ramachandra Prabhu. So Guha is created a bed for Lakshmana also, but he tells he won't. And Guha, Sumantra and Lakshmana, all the 3 of them are speaking about Ramachandra Prabhu's guna for that entire night. Guhopi sahasutena saumitrim anubhashayan anmajagrat tato ramam apramatto dhanurdharaha. They are speaking about Ramachandra Prabhu's guna for that entire night, and immediately the sun came out, and Ramachandra Prabhu asked Guha to arrange boat for him to cross the Ganga river, and Sumantra is waiting next to him, and Ramachandra Prabhu instructs Sumantra to go back to the kingdom. So you have brought me till here, so this is enough. So you take the chariot back and mention to Kaikeyi Devi that I have entered the forest, because Ramachandra Prabhu feels that she might still be having a doubt whether if Ramachandra Prabhu is living in the borders of Ayodhya, so that should not be there, right? So he should give that confirmation. So he asks Sumantra to go and mention to Kaikeyi Devi that I have entered into the forest. But Sumantra is really devastated. He couldn't hear these words of Ramachandra Prabhu, and he says that there is a goat, and it has been brought to the butcher's shop, and it is going to be killed. At that moment, somehow it got escaped. So it is running in some streets or some direction. Immediately another person catches that goat and brings it back to the same butcher shop, and I feel that your goat has escaped, so I am bringing it back to you. If such things happen, how will that goat feel? So that is my situation here. I felt that I have escaped from the clutches of Kaikeyi, but again you are asking me to go back to that same place, to that butcher, that is Kaikeyi here. And Ramachandra Prabhu, generally he will not allow anyone talking wrong about Kaikeyi. But here, since he wants Sumantra to again go back, he is using it for his advantage. So he is mentioning, that is why I am sending you. Because since that butcher is there are several other goats who are still waiting there. And if no harm should come for them, and it is only possible if you are there with them. So that is why I am sending you back. And Sumantra has understood. These are all just reasons that Ramachandra Prabhu is in. If he wants to have someone, whatever it may be, he will somehow take him to his field. But if he doesn't want someone, he will also be ready to leave them at that place. So since Sumantra has understood, but he has one last option. He says that at least you can take these horses with you to the forest, because they will be of help by carrying the weights that is needed to be carried. Why Sumantra is mentioning this? Because if the horses should be there, then the chariot also will be there. So somehow he is using an option. Somehow Ramachandra Prabhu will accept him or not. So ime pihacha haya veera yadite vanavasinaha paricharyam karishyanti prapsyanti paramam gatim. If these horses are with you, they will be able to serve you, and because of that they will be getting paramam gatim. So this shows the Bhagavata Sambandham that is needed for a person to do Bhagavad Kainkari. So here Sumantra is mentioning about these, speaking about these horses to Ramachandra Prabhu. This is called Pashur Manishya Pakshiva Yecha Vaishnava Mashritaha. So the way in which we should approach Bhagavan, if we go directly, it would be difficult. So for that, what we should do, we should come into an association of a Mahatma or a Bhakta, and that Mahatma will introduce us to Bhagavan. So that is what it has been showed here. So Sumantra is asking Ramachandra Prabhu to take those horses also, but Ramachandra Prabhu doesn't accept it. And Guha is Sumantra is waiting on the banks of Ganga of this side. He is waiting in Srinivasa, and immediately Guha makes the boat ready, and Ramachandra Prabhu, Sita Devi, Lakshmana along with Guha, they are about to start. And at that time, Ramachandra Prabhu asks Guha, and he shows him a tree. So that is a banyan tree, and he asks for the milk of that banyan tree. Why? Because he is wearing that jata that is need to be worn there. And immediately when Ramachandra Prabhu is going to do that, Lakshmana is the first person to do it. So he wears the jeta. Similarly, Ramachandra Prabhu wears it. And Guha and Sumantra and Sita Devi, on seeing it, they are starting to weep, because the first instance when Sita Devi saw Ramachandra Prabhu, it was his curly and beautiful hairs that got her attention. And now that beautiful hair of Ramachandra Prabhu is being converted to a jeta. So jeta means it will be very strong, and there won't be, it will be there for 14 years, it will be like that itself. So that being the case, she is really feeling, she is weeping, and Ramachandra Prabhu and Lakshmana wear jeta, and they now enter into the boat and they cross river Ganga. Now they come to the other side, and there they have the ashrama of Bharatwaja Maharishi. There Guha is also asked to go back. So Guha returns back, he is crossing the river and coming back to Shigiverapuram. There Ramachandra Prabhu goes to Bharatwaja Maharishi's ashram, and there Bharatwaja Maharishi welcomes Ramachandra Prabhu, feeds him, and then he mentions that the best place for Ramachandra Prabhu to stay is Chitrakoot. He asks Ramachandra Prabhu to stay in his ashram itself for 14 years. But Ramachandra Prabhu doesn't accept, because it is really closer to Ayodhya. So if you just cross Ganga river, then it will be Bharatwaja ashram. So he feels that if people of Ayodhya know that Ramachandra Prabhu is here, then they will not be staying in Ayodhya, they will be coming and seeing him, they will be want to be with him. They will say that we have packed our bags and we have come for 2 days, for 3 days, for 4 days. So these things, he is not encouraging those things, and he is further asking Bharatwaja Maharishi what will be a best place for him to stay. And that best place, Bharatwaja Maharishi mentions that it is Chitrakutam, and Ramachandra Prabhu has a beautiful stay in Chitrakutam. So that is the place where he enjoyed the most. Generally, if you see in Ramayanam, the happy segments are really small. And that too, if Ayodhya Kandam starts, we have to search for 1 or 2 happy segments that are happening. And that happens here in Chitrakutam, where Ramachandra Prabhu is staying. And it is mentioned that on seeing the beauty and on seeing the nature wealth that Chitrakutam has, and the beautiful time that Sita Devi and Ramachandra Prabhu are enjoying in Chitrakutam, and Bharata, Lakshmana serving them, it is mentioned that Ramachandra Prabhu forgot Ayodhya itself. So he had such a pleasant and happy stay in Chitrakutam. Suramyamasadya cha Chitrakutam Nadim satam malyavatim sudhirtam Nananda Krishto mrigapakshi jushtam Jahaucha dukkham pura vipravasat. So he has left behind, he has forgotten all his sorrows, all his bad times, all his difficulties. Jahaucha dukkham pura vipravasa. So he has forgotten even Ayodhya itself, because it is so beautiful and it is so ramyam to stay in Chitrakutam. And when Ramachandra Prabhu is staying in Chitrakutam, Guha comes back to Sriniverapuram, and at the same place where Sumantra was standing, he is still standing there itself. And he is simply seeing, gazing at the Ganga river, expecting that somehow if Ramachandra Prabhu calls him, immediately he can jump and swim towards through Ganga river and go and meet him, but it didn't happen. So immediately Guha comes and touches Sumantra, only then he comes back to normalcy. And he immediately tells that Ramachandra Prabhu is gone to Bharatwaja ashram, and from there he is going to go and stay in Chitrakutam. So you can stay in my residence for 2-3 days, then you can go back to Ayodhya. But Sumantra doesn't like those things. So he mentioned that I am returning back to Ayodhya immediately. Because if I am not there with Ramachandra Prabhu, then my only place of refuge is Dasharatha. So I will again go back to him there. And Ramachandra Prabhu has particularly told me to take care of him also. So that being the case, Sumantra returns back to Ayodhya, and while he is about to enter the arch of Ayodhya, he closes his face with a cloth, because he feels that he can't meet the people there and he can't see see their emotions and how he will react to it. So Yedi Sabda Bhajet Ramaha. And when Sumantra's chariot enters inside Ayodhya, all the people are rushing to the chariot and they are searching for Ramachandra Prabhu there, whether he is there in it. And immediately they start to cry, they jump, they run here and there, full of sorrow, and they start to cry. And they are asking, where did you send Ramachandra Prabhu, where he is there? Again, if you mention it, we will also go there. So they are all a big sorrowful situation there. And immediately Sumantra crosses all these people and he directly goes to Kausalya Devi's chamber. He knows that Dasharatha Maharaja is there. And when Dasharatha fell down on the streets of Ayodhya, he was brought to Kausalya Devi's chamber, and Kausalya and Dasharatha were weeping because of the separation of Ramachandra Prabhu, and now when Sumantra has come back, this is how when Dasharatha gains consciousness back, he is already fainted there. So he will be waking up, again he will get fainted. He will be waking up, again he will be fainted. So this is the way in which he was there. And when Sumantra came in, Kausalya Devi mentioned to Dasharatha that Sumantra has come, so immediately he opened his eyes and asked Sumantra that where is Ramachandra Prabhu, where have you sent him, where he has been left, you tell me all the stories that happened for these 3 days. And immediately Sumantra is telling everything, that first we stayed at the banks of Tamasa river, then we went to Shingiverapuram, there he had a friend called Guha, and Guha welcomed him, now they crossed Ganga river, and until that I know, and he has asked me to return back to you, so I have come here. And he explains everything to Dasharatha Maharaja in a shloka. And Sumantra feels that he is he has done the most sins among all the people in Ayodhya. And he mentions his Devatvattanayasya Kuntalabharam Kshiraihi Swadhenu Bhavaihi Sektam Nalamarundhati Patirabhut Tasyabhishekotsabe Siktoham Tasayesha Maithila Sutam Bashpodakotpadakaihi Nekrodhaksharitaihi Jatam Rachaitum Shiraihi Nishadashritaihi. He is calling Dasharatha, mentioning Deva, when means Natha. Devatvattanayasya Kuntalabharam Shiraihi Swadhenotbhavaihi. Every evening used to go to the Goshala and see how the cows are there. So how is their health and how are they taken care of, you will be inquiring about it. And in one calf, when you see it, one cow, when you see it, you will be so fond of it. And always you will be going and sitting next to it, you will be just patting it, you will be having a close association with it. And one day you asked me that among all the cows that are present here, this cow is what I am really fond of. And you asked me what is that reason, which I told that I don't know, and immediately you answered me that this cow's lineage of all the cows of this family, they were in this Goshala for several years. And this cow is pregnant now, and when it lays that calf, the milk of that cow is going to be used for Rama's coronation. So that is why I am so fond of this cow. But I feel that this cow has not done that much bhagyam. It's not that much fortunate, but a banyan tree in the Shingiverapuram has done greater tapas, it seems. So that tree's milk has been used for putting jada to Ramachandra Prabhu. Devatvattanayasya Kuntalabharam Kshiraihi Swadhenu Bhavaihi. And whenever I have a conversation with Vasishta Maharishi, say Tumnalam Arundhati Patihi, I will used to ask him, why are you coming and staying in the kingdom? You are a jnani yourself, you are a great tapasvi. What are you going to gain by enjoying all this pleasure? Because you are beyond the worldly measures. So even if you enjoy, it is not going to affect you, or it is going to impact you, or give you happiness, or it is not going to give sorrow, because you are all beyond all these things. And I ask you, why are you staying in this kingdom for several years, though you are a great jnani and a rishi? And Vasishta Maharishi will be mentioning me that I know that Ramachandra Prabhu will be born in this lineage. And if I am the Kulaguru of this lineage, only then I will be able to coronate him. So for that is the only reason, though I am a jnani, I am staying in this kingdom. Sektam nalam arundhati patirabhut tasya abhishekotsave, to coronate Ramachandra Prabhu. For that bhagyam he has been staying for years, for several generations he has seen in Surya Vamsha, and he is the Kulaguru there. Because he had known that Rama is going to be born in this Vamsha. And Sumantra mentions to Dasharatha that more than Vasishta's tapas, there is another person who has done tapas there in Shingiverapuram, that is Guha, because he is the person who took that banyan tree's milk and poured on Ramachandra Prabhu's head, so that his hairs will form into a jata. So say, Tumnalam Arundhati Patirabhut Tasyabhishekotsabe Siktohantasa Yesha Maithila Sutta Bashpodakotpadakaihi. So the crown of the Vamsha of Surya Vamsha's crown, it is so blessed because it is going to sit on Ramachandra Prabhu's head. But I think more than that, the Jataya of Ramachandra Prabhu has done greater bhagyam because he is going to hold it for 14 years. And he feels, Sumatra mentions that you have only seen Ramachandra Prabhu going to the forest and wearing tree barks as his dress. But I feel that I have done greater sins. So that is why I also saw Ramachandra Prabhu wearing jata. So that is how it happened. Negrodha ksharitaihi jatam rachayitum kshiraihi nishada hritaihi. So this is how he mentions Dasharatha. And how will Dasharatha feel? Already he is really gone. He is going to stay for a few more minutes. That's it. He understands it. And he further asks Sumantra that you speak about Rama. You speak about Rama. Otherwise there is no hope for me. You take me to Ramachandra Prabhu. I will be there. At least even if I lose my life, let me lose it there in front of Ramachandra Prabhu. That is what I want. So since Dasharatha started to speak like this, immediately Sumantra leaves. And on seeing these things of Dasharatha and Kausalya Devi is really fed up now. Because she feels that Dasharatha is just acting. Because he is the person who asked Ramachandra Prabhu to go to the forest. And now again he is mentioning that how can I be separated from him, I can't live. Then why did you send him? So immediately she felt that these kinds of acting is not needed. You are the person who sent him. That being the case, now why are you acting that I can't be separated from him? These are just your vesham. These are just acting. So immediately when Kausalya Devi raised her voice and spoke, she has just raised her voice. She has just raised her voice. And immediately what Dasharatha did, he did Anjali to Kausalya Devi. He mentioned that I am going to be there for a few more moments or few more days, that's it. So till the day you was given in marriage to me, from that day you never raised a voice or a word against me till now for the 60,000 years. And immediately when she spoke these harsh words to Dasharatha closed Kausalya's mouth and mentioned that you shouldn't have this sin of speaking wrong about your husband or speaking bad about your husband. So this sin, till now you have not done this. And this last moment, why should such a sin come to you? So you don't speak. I know what my situation is, I know what your situation is. And immediately Kausalya Devi realizes. She mentions that I know. So this is because of all the sorrow and all the sufferings that we are undergoing. And she mentions Shoko nasayate dhairyam Shoko nasayate shrutam Shoko nashayate sarvam Nasti shoka samoripuhu. This is because of the sorrow that we are undergoing. Shoko nashayate dhairyam. So the first thing that we will lose because of the shokam is the confidence that we have. Shoko nashayate dhairyam, confidence and strength. Shoko nashayate shrutam. It will make us forget what all we have read and what all we have learnt. Shoko nashayate shrutam. And she mentioned Shoko nashayate sarvam. Because of this sorrow we will forget everything and everything will be leaving us. Nasti shoka samoripuhu. There is no enemy who is equivalent to this sorrow. So that is why I have spoken. But immediately Dasharatha mentions that is not so. It is because of the earlier karma that I have done. So he mentions Yada acharati kalyani shubham va yadi va shubham. Whether it is pleasure or whether it is sorrow, whether it is sukham or whether it is dukham, it happens because of our earlier karma's actions that we have done. And no one can escape from it. Tadeva labhate bhadre karta karmajamatmanaha. So the karta is the person who does the karma, and the karma that we have done will definitely come and hit us at the time that it should do. So no one can escape from it, and it is because of my earlier karma that I am suffering now. And he mentions the story of Shravana Kumara, whom he hit with an arrow called Shabdavedi. And because of that, I am undergoing this sorrow now. Because those parents of that child gave me a curse that I will also die because of Putra Shoka, separation from my child. At that moment, I felt happy for this curse. Because till then, I didn't have a confidence that I will be able to get a child. But since these two parents have cursed me that you will die because of the separation from your son, I got the confidence that somehow I will be having a child. And when Ramachandra Prabhu was born and Dasharatha's love and affection to him, he forgot this curse. And now he is remembering it again, and so he is mentioning Karta, Karmajam Atmanaha. So there is no scope for me to live. since they have cursed me, so this is my last moments. And somehow Kausalya Devi is giving him some confidence, so don't worry, so have some strength. Easily all the 14 years will pass away, Ramachandra Prabhu will be returning back. So you will only be coordinating him, so you don't lose hope, don't lose hope, so don't lose confidence. And he is mentioning Nate Manushya Devaste Ye Charu Shubha Kundalam Sukham Mukham Drakshanti Ramasya Varshe Panchadashe Punaha. So but Dasharatha, he is not having that strength. He is feeling, he is praying to all the people who are going to see Ramachandra Prabhu's coronation. So who are all going to live for those 14 years, and after that 14 years when Ramachandra Prabhu returns. So those people who will be seeing his coronation are all my devas now, all my devatas now. Mukham drakshanti Ramasya Varshe Panchadashe Punaha. So, but I can't survive anymore. Ha Raghava Mahabaho Ha Mamayasha Nashana Ha Pidrupriya Menata Ha Tyakwasi Gatasudha Ha Kausalyena Pashyami Ha Sumitre Tapasvini Ha Nushamse Mama Mitre Kaikeyi Kulapamsani Iti Ramasya Matuscha Sumitrayascha Sannidhau Raja Dasharatha Sochan Jivitantam Upagamat. So that Dasharatha is shouting Ha Raghava Mahabaho. He has understood that he is losing his life. His life is going. Ha Raghava Mahabaho. And the last words that he uttered were names of Ramachandra Prabhu. Ha Raghava Mahabaho Ha Mama Ayasha Nasana. So if Dasharatha, just if he sneezes or if he coughs, so immediately Ramachandra Prabhu will be rushing and saying, what happened? Are you not feeling well? So this is the way in which he will be inquiring, and he will always be around Dasharatha itself. So Mama Ayasha Nasana. So whatever sorrow and difficulties that I have, it will be gone just by seeing your face. Ha Mama Ayasha Nasana Ha Pitrupriya. You have great devotion and bhakti towards me. Ha Pitrupriya Menatha. You should be calling him son, but he is calling him as Natha, as his Lord. He Natha Hadyakwasi Gatasudha. Can anyone get a child like you? But I am undergoing sorrow because of your separation. Ha Kausalye, he thinks about his wives also. Ha Kausalye na pashyami, ha Sumitre tapasvini. Even though he doesn't like, he has given a sthanam for Kaikeyi, so he thinks about her also. Ha Nrishamse mama amitre Kaikeyi kula kamsani. So all these things has happened because of you. Kaikeyi kula kamsini. You have destroyed this entire Vamsham. Iti Ramascha Matuscha Sumitrayascha Sannidhau, in their presence. But they are not able, they are not knowing it, that Dasharatha is leaving his life. They are also fainted and they are also fallen. So Raja Dasharatha Sochan Jivitantam Upagamat. So it's mentioned that since you have gone to the forest and you have left Ayodhya and gone to the forest, so similarly I am also leaving Ayodhya and I am going to Devaloka. So since you have left Ayodhya, the reason for me leaving Ayodhya is not because I don't like Ayodhya. It is your Janma Bhumi, how can I not like it? It is my favorite place. It is my most place that I am really fond of. But since you have left it, Kanagame Miga Virumbi Ni Turanda Vala Nagarattai Turand. Since you have left Ayodhya, I am also leaving. That is the only reason. I don't have any other issues regarding my stay in Ayodhya. And even if I am ready to rule, I will be ruling it even further. But since you are not there, Kanagame Viga Virumbi Ni Turanda Vala Nagarattai Turand. Nanum Vanagame Miga Virumbi Pogindre. And the last words of Dasharatha through Alva's Pasuram is Manu Kulattar Tangal Kove. So the father's last blessing to his son, Manu Kulattar Engal Kove. He addresses him as the king of Ayodhya, the king of Kosala. So he has that assurance that this is my last blessings in my last moments. So this will definitely fall in place. So this will definitely happen, this will come true. So Ramachandra Prabhu is going to be coronated the king after 14 years. So he mentions that Ashirvadam, even though Ramachandra Prabhu is not in front of him, he mentions Manukulattar Yangal Kove. With that, Dasharatha loses his life, is dead now. And next day morning, when all the people who will be coming to sing the praises of the king, to wake him up, all the people assemble. But there is no movement in Dasharatha also, and immediately they realize that Dasharatha has lost his life, and immediately Kausalya, Kaikeyi, Sumitra, all the queens of Dasharatha enter. Already they are having a great shock and a great disaster that Ramachandra Prabhu has gone to the forest. Now Dasharatha has also lost his life, so it is an even greater disaster for them. And immediately the kingdom is being given to Vasishtha. So there should be a king, right? So the first child has gone to the forest. It is difficult to search him where he is. And the second child, that is Bharata, is not here. He is in Kekai Desham. So till then someone should rule the kingdom and someone should place orders also. So for that, Dasharatha has 8 ministers, prime ministers. But it is mentioned that the kingdom is not given to them. It is given to Vasishtha Maharishi because they will be having difference of opinion with them. So each one will have their own thoughts, each one will giving their own opinions. So that being the case, a person who is separated from all those ministers should be ruling it, right? So it is given to Vasishtha. It is a management quality that is mentioned here. So Vasishtha is given the king and he immediately instructs, passes orders to bring Bharata and Shatrughna from there, and from in KK Desham, Bharata is undergoing lot of bad omens, bad dreams, and he feels that something bad is happening in Ayodhya. And immediately when these people, the messengers come, they mention that Vasishtha Maharishi has ordered to ask you to come back to the Ayodhya. And immediately listening to this, he gets further doubt, and immediately Bharata and Shatrughna are returning back. They come to Ayodhya, but he expected a different welcome for him, different greetings for him, because he was not there for 12 years. So he felt that all the people will be welcoming him, all the people will be happy in seeing him, but the entire Ayodhya is completely different. There is no temples are not opened, all the people are sitting on the streets and they are crying, they have not taken bath for several years, they have not eaten food, they are all troubled and disturbed, and few people, when Bharata enters, they show their anger to him. So few people, they turn their face and they don't see Bharata. So Bharata feels that something bad has happened, and immediately he goes to Kaikeyi's chamber and asks him what has happened, how is father, how is Ramachandra Prabhu, so what is the situation, why there is the Ayodhya looks like complete, it has been haunted or someone has entirely captured it. So it looks very different, and what is the reason, what happened, where is father? And Kaikeyi is answering for it very casually. So the way in which she should convey it should be in such a way, right? But she is not showing any of the sorrow, and she is mentioning agatihi sarva bhutanam tam gatihi te pita gatah. So whoever is born, one day they should die. So that has happened to your father now. So that is the way in which she conveys it. But though the news has been conveyed in this way, Bharata didn't expect it. So he falls down, he is trembling here and there, he is crying, and uttishta kim seshe rajannatra mahayashaha. Somewhat Kaikeyi is trying to pacify him. And what is the cause for Ramachandra Prabhu's death? Is being asked by Bharata, Dasharatha's death, and immediately Kaikeyi Devi mentions that it is because of the separation of Ramachandra Prabhu. He was constantly thinking about Ramachandra Prabhu, and since he is not there in front of him, he lost his life. So what is the reason for that? So I have got 2 boons. So first boon, you will be coronated the king, and Rama will be sent to the forest for 14 years. So Lakshmana got very livid, he got really angry, and he started to shout at Kaikeyi. So did you get these kinds of boons? How did you get such a thought? How can you do like this? So he shouts at her, and immediately the first thought that comes to his mind is about Kausalya Devi. What will Kausalya Devi think about me? So immediately he rushes to the place where Kausalya Devi is, and on the way Kausalya Devi, knowing that Bharata has come back, she is also approaching him, and on Kausalya and Bharata meet, immediately she shows her anger at Bharata and told him that I think that you are really happy now. So all the things have happened according to your plan now. So father is also dead, Dasharatha has also gone, Ramachandra Prabhu has also gone to the forest. So there is no one who is going to trouble you, or no one who is going to disturb you. So you will definitely be coronated the king, so you will live a happy life. So this is what she mentioned. So immediately Bharata fell at the feet of Kausalya Devi, and he started to weep, he started to cry. And he makes a lot of promises. He mentions that who will have this thought of Ramachandra Prabhu going to the forest. So yasyaryo anumate gataha. If I am the person, if I am a part of Ramachandra Prabhu going to the forest. So if a person who kills a baby, a person who kills, who does abortion, a person who kills the cow, a person who kills sadhus, so that papam and narakam come for me. A person who drinks alcohol, a person who involves in gambling. So he mentions a lot of dharmas, lot of sins that will be committed, and if that is so, then that all the sins, let them come to me. So yasyaryo anumate gataha, and he falls at the feet of Kausalya Devi, and Kausalya Devi, now only she realizes that she has talked wrong about Bharata, and Bharata is really troubled, he is crying, and that night Kausalya Devi doesn't know how this night will pass. So lalapyamanasya vichetanasya pranashta buddhehe patitasya bhumau muhurmuhu nishwasatasya dhirgham sa tasya shokena jagama ratrihi. Somehow let this night pass, because the troubles and the way in which Bharata is behaving, she gets fear that she will lose Bharata also. That is the way Bharata and Shatrughna are. And next day morning they do the final rites for Dasharatha, and immediately when all the rites are done, in front of Dasharatha, Bharata makes a promise. In front of Dasharatha's body, he makes a promise that you don't worry, that the last wish of yours, that Ramachandra Prabhu will be brought back and he will be crowned the king, and if he doesn't accept, I will go to the forest. I will be in the forest for 14 years and he will be coronated. So your last wish will definitely be fulfilled. That is what he tells. But Kaikeyi is entirely behaving oppositely, because she feels that Bharata will definitely accept the throne. So next day, and after all the rituals, all the final rites are completed, they wait for 13 days. And after that, the next day, Kaikeyi feels that Bharata will be coronated now. So she wears new sari. So she wears all the ornaments and she is decorating herself. And similarly, she has mentioned to Kuni that if Bharata will be coronated, I will be providing you lot of ornaments, I will be providing you lot of everything, new dress, everything will be provided to you. So immediately, as per her words, she is providing everything to Kuni also. And Kuni has decorated herself, and Valmiki, he beautifully explains it. He says that Rajubadhiva Vanari. So how she looks is that if a monkey is being decorated with lipstick, with a lot of ornaments and new dress, that is the way in which this Kuni looks, it seems. So Rajubadhi Vavanari, and other servants on seeing Kuni behaving in this way, they immediately go and complain to Shatrughna that she is the main reason for Ramachandra Prabhu going to the forest. And it is mentioned Shatrughna Lakshmananujaha. Particularly whenever Shatrughna is mentioned, it will be mentioned with Bharata only. But here particularly Valmiki Maharishi is mentioning Shatrughna Lakshmananujaha, because he is showing that same anger that Lakshmana will be showing. So immediately he held her hair and he is about to push her, and at that time she is shouting what she should shout. She is shouting Kaikeyi, Kaikeyi, because for her Kaikeyi is the Lord and she is her servant, so she is taking refuge at Kaikeyi. And immediately when Kaikeyi's name is called, immediately Kaikeyi rushes. And on seeing Lakshmana going to trouble this Kuni, she herself gets frightened and she runs and calls for Bharata. And Bharata is brought back again, and to Bharata, Shatrughna mentions that she is the reason for Ramachandra Prabhu going to the forest. And immediately Bharata says, I will to leave her, because I have even more anger that you have, greater anger I have, and it is particularly to Kaikeyi. I am even ready to kill her now. So immediately his anger turns to Kaikeyi and he tells Kaikeyi, at least you drink poison now, at least you tie a rope and you leave your life, somehow you die. That is what I need. But he is hesitating to do any of those, because he is mentioning to Shatrughna that tomorrow we are going to meet Ramachandra Prabhu. So that is the only thing that is forcing us and making us not to act in such a way. Because if he asks about Kaikeyi, he can even ask about Kuni also, how Kuni is. So he will inquire about Kuni also. That being the case, no harm should happen to them. Otherwise, it will create an apriyam for Ramachandra Prabhu. So Ramachandra Prabhu's pleasure, so Ramachandra Prabhu's smile in the face is what our priority is. So that being the case, that is why I am also slow, I am also patient. So you wait, so you don't do these things. So immediately the next day morning, they take a big journey from Ayodhya, and it is mentioned, announced by Bharata that I am going to bring back Ramachandra Prabhu. So whenever the king wakes up, there will be a royal drum that will be played. And that day they start to play it, and immediately Bharata asked them to stop. And they should not be played it because there is no king here at all. So I am going to bring that king back. When he returns, we can play it. So when it is told, all the people of Ayodhya are really happy and they praise Bharata. This is how Bharata should be. He is exactly the way we expected. So that is how he is. So they are happy for Bharata, and Bharata instructs that who are all interested to come to the forest to meet Ramachandra Prabhu, they can follow me. Then there is no Ayodhya at all. All the people of Ayodhya are coming out, and somehow the kingdom should be protected, right? So for that, few people are forced to stay, and they are guarding Ayodhya. The entire crowd is people are following Bharata and Shatrughna with Sumantra guiding them, because he knows the way where Ramachandra Prabhu is, and the entire path, the way that they go is being modified. So all their new roads are being constructed, everything is explained in detail there. So new roads, all the trees that are there in the forest, they are uprooted and planted somewhere else. And all the Yantrokshipta Ivad Vivaha. And if you see the machines and the devices that are used for this, it is mentioned, Yantram means all the machines that are needed. So machines are there for uprooting a tree, planting it somewhere else, creating roads, constructing roads. So all these things are happening as the way they travel, and how quick it is. So look at that civilization that was there. We were speaking about it in the first day, and how the technology is there in Ramachandra Prabhu's period. So everything is explained here, and Sumantra brings Bharata and Shatrughna, Vasishta Maharishi, all the people to Guha's place, and immediately Guha doubts Bharata. When he sees him from a distance, he feels that he is not allowing, he will not be allowing Ramachandra Prabhu to stay happily in the forest also. So he has come here to disturb Ramachandra Prabhu. So immediately he asks his people to be ready. So if Bharata is come in good intention, then we will allow him, we will speak with him. If not, I will just give a signal, so we will go in war with him. But on seeing the way in which Bharata is approaching, full of tears in his eyes, rushing and running, and really he needs to see Ramachandra Prabhu, Guha comes and falls at Bharata's feet. He says, Dhanyatvam natvaya tulyam pashyami jagati tale ayatnat agatam rajyam yastvam tyaktumihechati. There is no greater person than you, Bharata. Even 100 Ramachandra Prabhu will not be equivalent to one Bharata. Dhanyastvam natvaya tulyam pashyami jagati tale. Because Ramachandra Prabhu was right to the throne. And for you without expecting, the throne was calling you, the crown was calling you, but you even left that for the sake of Ramachandra Prabhu. Because generally if we have some wealth that is coming to us, someday we will be trying to accept it and living with it. But look at Bharata, he is sacrificing it for the sake of Ramachandra Prabhu. So Dhanyastvam natvaya tulyam. There is no person who is greater than you. Pashyami jagati tale. He has even seen Ramachandra Prabhu. And he is mentioning Ayatnath, without any effort, the kingdom has come for you, the Rajyam has come for you, but Yastvam Tyaktumihechasi, you are happy in leaving it. So this shows that you are really great. And immediately Guha mentions that we left Ramachandra Prabhu on the banks of river Ganga. He went to Bharatwaja Maharishi's ashram, and from there he is staying in Chitrakutam, and immediately all the people rush there. And Bharata and Shatrughna, these people can't keep the pace in which they are rushing. So that being the case, all other people are coming in the behind, and Bharata and Shatrughna are going in the front, and Bharata is shouting, Yavanna Ramam Drakshyami Lakshmanam va Mahabalam Vaidehim va Mahabhaga Name Shantir Bhavishyati Yavanna Chandra Shankasham Tadrakshyami Shubhananam Bhatuhu Padmapala Saksham Name Shantir Bhavishyati. Unless I go and see Ramachandra Prabhu, Lakshmana and Sita Devi, I will not be having peace, I will not be having Shanti. Yavanna Charanau Bhratuhu Parthiva Vyanjananvitau Shirasa Pratigrihishyami Name Shantir Bhavishyati. He is rushing inside Chitrakuta. He has reached there, and he could see few flags that are being placed. So he understands that this is the path that Ramachandra Prabhu will be travelling regularly. Otherwise, they won't be having some signals for them to show that indication that this is the way they should go. Because in forest, they don't know what is the direction, what is the way they should travel. And he is rushing with Shatrughna also. Both of them are running and they are searching for Ramachandra Prabhu. Where he is, they are searching. Atra Rama iti jnatva. I have seen him. So he is there, he is sitting there. So he is rushing. Bharataram bhartaram sagarantayaha. On seeing Ramachandra Prabhu from a distance, he could see his Jatabharam, he could see his tree bark, he could see his Kodandam, everything he is viewing it and he is seeing who is he? Bhartaram Sagarantaya, how he is capable of ruling the entire world. But Prithivyaha Dharmacharinam, because of that dharma that he follows, he is coming and sitting in this forest here and he looks like Brahmanam Iva Shashvatam. The way Ramachandra Prabhu is looking there is like he is looking like Brahmadeva sitting in Satyaloka. And there comes a confusion for Bharata that Brahmanam Iva Shashvatam. When he was in the kingdom, he used to wear costly dresses, he used to wear a lot of ornaments, he used to wear all of cosmetics, everything will be there, right? And he compares those two ways in which Ramachandra Prabhu is present. If that is the permanent look of Ramachandra Prabhu or the look that he is showing here. So he feels Brahmanam Iva Shashvatam. This is his real form. So he was just acting and he was enacting that he was enjoying all those ornaments and all the riches and wealth there, but that is not so. This is his exact and permanent form, it seems. So Brahmanam Iva Shashvatam, and he is rushing, he is not able to reach Ramachandra Prabhu's feet, yet to reach Ramachandra Prabhu's feet, but on seeing him, the emotions and the love that he had, he falls down there itself. Padau aprapya Ramasya Apata Bharato Rudhanya. He wants to go and grab Ramachandra Prabhu's feet because he is mentioning that he is not having peace, he is not having shanti, and but he is not able to do that also. On the way he falls down and Ramachandra Prabhu rushes, and immediately he rushes and he holds Bharata and makes him to sit on his lap. Ankam Bharata Mastita, so asks him to sit on his lap. And on seeing Ramachandra Prabhu, the one thing that can't be earned, that can't be got from any other place, Bharata feels that here. On seeing Ramachandra Prabhu, so Valmiki mentions that whom he sees there. Initially he mentioned Brahmanam Iva Shashvatam, he is looking like Brahma. But when Bharata went and fell at the feet before Ramachandra Prabhu, when he raised his head and saw him, he felt a great peace. He felt that is the greatest rich, that is the greatest wealth a person can have, because he didn't have peace in KK Desha. He was troubled by a lot of bad omens. When he came to Ayodhya, he was not welcomed properly. When he went and saw his mother, he came to know that his father has gone and his mother has captured the kingdom for him, and Kausalya Devi was having a doubt in him, and all the people in Ayodhya, even Bharatwaja Maharishi, even Guha, everyone were doubting him. And finally, but he had one confidence, but my Prabhu will never doubt me. My Lord will never doubt me. So that is why he has come here. And on seeing Ramachandra Prabhu, he gets that peace, and it is mentioned that whom he saw there. Tadarsha Bharato Gurum. So Bharata sees his Guru there. It is not Rama, or it is not Raja, or it is not Jeshta Bhrata, or no other relation is being mentioned here. It is mentioned Tadarsha Bharato Gurum, and that is taken in Bhoja Ramayanam, and he mentions whom he sees there. He sees an embodiment of peace. So Athavasam Shantehe Akrita Sukrutanam Asulabham Navam Bodashyamam Nalina Valkaladharam Jata Juta Pidam Bhujagapati Bhogo Pamabhujam Dadarsha Srimantam. Look at the term, he is mentioning this Ramachandra Prabhu as Sriman. Dadarsha Srimantam Vipina Bhuvi Sita Sahacharam. Why Srimantam? Because Sita Devi is next to him. Why Srimantam? Because the greatest Shri, the greatest wealth is peace, and it is entirely held there by Ramachandra Prabhu. So Athavasam Shantehe. So Bharata was having lot of confusions, lot of doubts. He was telling that I should speak this to Ramachandra Prabhu. I should ask him these questions. Why is he coming and staying here? So I should somehow bring him back to the kingdom. These were all his thoughts there. But just when he met and saw Ramachandra Prabhu, there were no questions at all. All his confusions and all his doubts, all his questions that he needed to ask, that he also had the thought of bringing him, right? Even that thought vanished, it seems, because he could feel a greater peace that can't be felt anywhere else. So Athavasam Shantehe. And Ramachandra Prabhu on seeing Lakshmana, Ramachandra Prabhu on seeing Bharata, he gets a doubt. Because when he was in the Guha's place, he also came to know that Ramachandra Prabhu was wearing tree bark, he was wearing jata. So immediately he also changed his form there. And on seeing this form of Bharata, Ramachandra Prabhu gets a heavy doubt. So immediately he asks Pullinan, so he hugs him, but he gets a doubt. Avan punainda vedattai palmurai nokinan. He is seeing him deeply, it seems. Why is he wearing tree bark? Why is he wearing Maravuli? Why is he wearing Jata? Why he has left the kingdom and come here? Where is father? So he should be the first person who should be coming. Why Bharata and Shatrugna are coming? So his father is not well. So what has happened to him? Why entire group of Ayodhya are standing here? Bharata should be coronated, right? So that should have happened now. Why is he coming and standing here? That too in this costume. Palamurai no kina. So he is seeing him several times. Because he is not getting any clarity. He is thinking in his mind that what would be the reason, but Ramachandra Prabhu didn't get any of those. Palabum Unnina, and he is thinking about several options. Allinan Alaginai, he is mentioning in that this form you have come in. How will Dasharatha Maharaja leave you to come in this form? So then I have a doubt. So Malludai Tolinan Baliyano Yandran, is our father safe? Is our father good? So what is the situation? You mentioned to me. Immediately Bharata starts Twameva Sochan Tavadarshanepsu Tvayeva Saktam Anivatya Buddhim Tvaya Vihinaha Tava Shoka Rugnaha Tvam Sansmaret Astamitaha Pitate. He is mentioning that your father, since he was thinking about you, he was calling out your name, because of your separation, he left his life. Tvam Samsmaret Astamitaha Pitate. So immediately Ramachandra Prabhu falls like a big tree when it is uprooted. So he falls, he cries, he suffers. Immediately he mentioned him to Sita Devi, he mentioned him to Lakshmana, and immediately all the people cry, they are really suffering. And Ramachandra Prabhu does the final rites that he should do. So Pinda Pradhanam, all these things are done by him. And that night, all the people are mourning, crying and suffering. And the next day, morning, the sun comes out. And it is Bharata who is really interested in bringing Ramachandra Prabhu back to the kingdom. So that being the case, though there Vasishtha Maharshi there, all the rishis are there, Sumantra is there, all big people are there, but they are having an hesitation and they are having a fear to come and speak to Ramachandra Prabhu directly. But Bharata has come with a karyam in his mind, with an activity in his mind, so he is the person who first talks. He mentions Tasya me dasa bhutasya prasadam kartumarhasi abhishinchasva chadyaiva rajyena magavaniva. I pray to you, I am not the king. I am your servant and you are the king. But few things have happened now. So Kaikeyi Devi has got her boons from Dasharatha Maharaja. But now Kaikeyi has herself changed her mind. Now father is also not there. So this is the right time for you to come and take the kingdom. And I will not be ruling it. I am 100% sure in it, because Tasya me dasa bhutasya, I am your servant. I am very particular about it and I am very clear about it. And you should not reject my appeal. You should not reject my prayer. You should come and accept the kingdom. And immediately Ramachandra Prabhu says that it is not that I fought with you people and there is a big issue in the family, so that is the reason why I have come here. So that is not there. And I am not interested in ruling. I am having dispassion in all the wells and all the riches of the kingdom. So I have come here to do tapas. So it is also not such a situation. I was ready to accept the throne. I was ready for the coronation, but the things have happened in this way, and I feel that it is not because of our father and it is not because of Kaikeyi Mata also. It is because of time. Itascheta rataschainam kritantaha parikarishati. I understand that it is because of the time, it is because of the fate. Since I have understood that, I have come to the forest. So I am not here to blame anyone for the things that have happened, because these people were really fond of me, they really loved me. But on that particular day, since the actions and the activities and the words or the moods have changed, that doesn't mean that these people have that intention. It is not so. It is because of the fate and it is because of time that has happened, and we have to accept it. Because whomever it may be, when the person is standing in a very high, tall position, then he should definitely come down one day. So if a person is really healthy, then one day he will be affected by some disease or something. So sarve kshayanta nichayaha. So one that has come into existence, and one day it will definitely, we will be losing it. Patananta Samuchrayaha. So if a person is standing, one day he will be falling. Samyoga Viprayogantaha. So if we are joining with the people, then one day we should get separated. Maranantam tu Jivitam. So whatever may be the situation, one day death will definitely approach us. So no one can avoid it. So no one can come over it, or no one can fight it. So whatever may be the situation, we can never come out of death. But there is one way of accepting death, or there is one way of waiting for death. How can a person accept, or how can a person wait for death, is once he is self-satisfied, that he has completed all his responsibilities, that he has completed all his duties, so he has completed all his dharmas, then he don't need to worry at all. So Atmanam Anushochantam Himanyam Anushochati. So we don't need to worry about our father now, because his dharmas and his righteousness that he followed his entire life will be protecting him, and because of that he will be reaching greater worlds. Now we have to think about our situation. Atmanam Anusochanti Kim Anyam Anushochati. So what should we do? We being his sons, so what should we do? So the only thing that we need to do here is we should glorify our father. The dharma and the satyam that he was following, we should follow the same. And according to that dharma and according to his boons, so you should be ruling the kingdom, and I should be in the forest. He has given me the forest kingdom, and he has given you the land kingdom. So that being the case, I have my minister as Lakshmana, and you have your minister as Shatrugna. So for you, all the people of Ayodhya are there. So for me, all the animals in the forest are there for me. So we have to accept it. So that is the way in which. So even if I am in the forest, if I consider this as a kingdom, and if I consider this as a lot of riches and wealth, then that is the way in which I will be approaching it. So it is because of the bhavam that we have. So the way in which we see it depends whether it is the forest or whether it is the kingdom, whether it is a palace or whether it is just a small hut. It depends on the bhavam that we have. So that being the case, we should definitely follow what our father says. So that is our priority, because that is our dharma and that is our satyam, and that will be the one which will be following us when we are going to leave this world. Dharmanugo gacchati jiva eka. Nothing is going to be, that thing is going to come with us. We are not going to take any of these things. But kritakrityaha samikshante mrityum priya nivatitim. So if you are self-satisfied, if you feel that I have done my duties and responsibilities properly, then we can await death. So he says, kritakrityaha samikshante mrityum priya nivatitim. If a friend has told that he will be coming to our house today evening, so, and if we are really close and fond of him, then we will be expecting him from the morning. Likewise, we can expect death. We can expect with that confidence, and we can expect it with that strength if we have done all our duties and responsibilities properly, and our father followed such a path. So he is our example and he is our Devatam. So that being the case, we should also do that. So Tvam Raja Bharata Bhavaswayam Naranam Vanyanam Ahamapi Rajyagan Mriganam Gachatvam Puravara Madhya Samprahrittaha Samhrittaha Twamapi Dandakan Pravekshe. When Ramachandra Prabhu spoke these words, immediately Bharata stood up, he fell at his feet. And he mentioned, no one other than you can speak these kinds of words at this situation. So if I am giving you back the kingdom to you, then the first thing that a person will be doing, even though he is having that intention, he will not be showing it, and he will be starting his way back to the kingdom. But in this tough times and in this situation, you are asking me to follow dharmam, and you are also mentioning me what dharmam is, and you are also following, right? So that being the case, I feel that you are not human at all. Ahamaropama satvastvam mahatma satya sankaraha sarvajnaha sarvasakshi cha buddhiman chapi raghava. So he feels that Ramachandra Prabhu is Sakshat Devam, because other than Devam, no one can speak these kinds of words. But Bharata is hesitant to take the kingdom. He says that I can't rule it, because you should come back definitely. If that is not so, then I am not ready to rule. So you go to the kingdom, I will be in the forest for 14 years. So immediately Ramachandra Prabhu says, but that is not what our father has given boons of. So that being the case, you should only be ruling. If I should be ruling, then I need something that will be as a thing that will be protecting the kingdom, because I won't be able to do it. So for that, immediately Bharata sees the Padukas of Ramachandra Prabhu, and immediately on seeing the Padukas, he prays to Ramachandra Prabhu to give his Padukas. And Ramachandra Prabhu, he feels that this is perfect, this is good. And he immediately sees his Padukas, he wears it once, and gives to Bharata. Adhiroharya padhabhyam paduke hema bhushite etehi sarvalokasya yogakshemam vidhasyatah. So Bharata accepts the padukas of Ramachandra Prabhu, and you could see that once the padukas leave Ramachandra Prabhu, all the issues for Ramachandra Prabhu start. So this shows that Bharata has done a complete Sharanagati at the feet of Ramachandra Prabhu. But because of the boons of Kaikeyi Devi, Ramachandra Prabhu can't fulfill it. So for that he gives his padukas. So once he gives his padukas, when he wears that padukas once and give it to Bharata, so all the sanidhyam of Ramachandra Prabhu has been transferred to the padukas. So that is the reason why Ramachandra Prabhu is suffering once he separates from it. And Bharata takes that padukas. He immediately goes to Ayodhya there, and in Ayodhya he does Pattabhishekam to that padukas. But since Ramachandra Prabhu is not there in Ayodhya, he can't stay there. So what he does, he brings the padukas and he stays in Nandigramam. And in Nandigramam, from there he is ruling the kingdom, and he has mentioned to Ramachandra Prabhu that in 14 years if you don't return, I will be losing my life. I will die definitely, so I am awaiting your arrival. And Ramachandra Prabhu, on giving the padukas, he entered his ashram there and he starts to cry. It seems, Rudan Kutin Swam Pravivesha Ramaha. Ramachandra Prabhu starts to cry because he couldn't fulfill the Sharanagati of Bharata. But he told that he will be fulfilling it after 14 years because he has a strike there for not fulfilling it. So that being the case, Maravadiyai Tambikki Manpanayam Vaitu Poi. Alvar says that the padukas are even greater than Ramachandra Prabhu. So he says he gives his padukas as mortgage for him, as pledge for him. So if you are keeping something as pledge, what we keep will have a higher value than the thing that we get. So for Ramachandra Prabhu, since he is pledging his padukas itself, so padukas has a greater value than Ramachandra Prabhu says. So Maravadiyai Tambikki Vanpanayam Vaitu Poi. So Bharata, he rules the kingdom with the padukas. He doesn't rule. It's only the padukas that he is ruling, and he is just Valab Gyajanam Hastamcha. So he regularly does pujas to that padukas, that is what he does. But the entire kingdom, all the things are governed by padukas. Why? Bharata was so keen on not ruling. Because if he has accepted the throne, Ramachandra Prabhu will not have returned after 14 years. Because it will become his sesham. It has already been used by Bharata. And Ramachandra Prabhu will not have a thing that has been already used. Dadati na grinhati. So that is his quality. Since Bharata has understood that, he wants it to be completely pure, or he needs to be something associated with Ramachandra Prabhu to accept that position. Otherwise, Ramachandra Prabhu, because the reason why he sends Anjaneya Swami to come and inform Bharata that I am coming back, it is not because that he is going to lose his life. That is one point. And the second matter is, for 14 years Bharata has been staying in the kingdom and with the wealth there. So Ramachandra Prabhu wants to test him whether if he has gained interest in ruling, then he is having a thought that he will go back to the forest again. So since Bharata has already anticipated that this will be his thought, he is very strict in not accepting the kingdom. That is why he made the padukas to rule it. So it becomes a part of Ramachandra Prabhu, or it is Ramachandra Prabhu himself. For Bharata, padukas are Ramachandra Prabhu himself. So Rama ruled the kingdom for 14 years. This paduka Rama, and the actual Rama is going to come back after 14 years and he will be ruling it. So with this we complete today's lecture. We have completed till Paduka Pattabhishekam. But for the next 2 days we have 2 more days of lecture. For the next 2 days we will be seeing Sundara Kanda. Directly we will be moving to Sundara Kandam and we will be completing with Sundara Kandam. I will try to complete with Sundara Kandam. So for next 2 days, since we don't have time, so if you go into Aranya Kandam, we won't have a proper and a suitable auspicious place to stop, because it continues, the story continues in an emotional way, so it won't be a proper place to stop the story. So I feel that now we have completed Pattabhishekam here, that is Paduka Pattabhishekam, and after that for next 2 days we will see the Prabhavam of Anjaneya Swami, and on Friday we will conclude with Sundarakanda. Janaki Kanta Smaranam Anjaneya Swami ki Jai, Sadguru Maharaj ki